Hello everyone, this is Highlander from MTG Cardsmith, doing another custom Magic the Gathering card review, and today we're reviewing a card by ShadowReign called Kamikai, Wandering Ronin, a monkey samurai. Look at that little monkey in the background. Watch, like that's him. This is Kamikai right here, and this is just some guy who like photobombed the picture. No, but this is actually really cool art. I like this art a lot. Like the colors are really neat. I love this mask, this sort of like tribal looking mask. Very cool art here. It does look like we're missing a little bit of the stick here. Like, you know, this, not only is the stick not lined up properly, but I think we're missing some stick here that should be, but whatever. I mean, minor note. All right, so let's see what we got here. This is a 3-mana legendary monkey samurai with 2/3 stats, first strike and trample. Okay, I mean, interesting combination of abilities, like for a 2/3. Let's see what we got here. So we got Primal Instinct, new mechanic. Whenever this creature attacks or blocks, you may discard a non-land card. If you do, it gets +3/+1 until end of turn. Okay. Whenever this creature attacks or blocks, you may discard a non-land card. If you do, it gets +3/+1 until end of turn. Okay. So I was checking to see if you could interact with this like if your opponent could interact with this in a way that screws you over, as in like you're like, okay, I'm gonna discard my card, and then they like kind of kill them in response, and they could kind of still do that, but at least you get the stat bonus. So they can't like deal 3 to this guy in response to you discarding a card, right? It's like once you discard the card, he immediately gets the +3/+1. I believe that's how this works. So at least there's that. Okay, so if you do discard, this guy becomes a 5/4 first strike trample. Okay, which is a lot stronger. That's quite strong for 3. Whenever Kamikai attacks alone, create Kazi, a legendary. Okay, so this is Kazi back here. I see a legendary 1/1 red and green monkey creature token with menace, and whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Kazi enters the battlefield tapped and attacking. Okay, I see. So you attack with this guy, you Primal Instinct. You get a little monkey guy. Who comes in tapped and attacking, and it's legendary, so you can only have one of them. And then you kind of get your card back if you hit with this monkey, which has menace. So, yeah, pretty neat card. I like this card. I mean, it's definitely a beater. Okay, so there's a couple things that are sort of floating around in my brain here. One is that the token is a little awkward because so the monkey sticks around, right? This isn't like a Geisel Saint Traff situation where the token goes away at the end of turn or carries Zev. The monkey is always there, but you've made him legendary so that you can only ever have one. It's just a little awkward because it's like you're basically going to be summoning a bunch of monkeys that are just going to sort of die on their own. So I think it would probably be better if if Kazi just only existed until end of turn, and I think that would make this card a little bit smoother. I mean, you're obviously like kind of running out of running out of space on this card. But you know, ideally, I think that would be a little bit smoother than you just creating a permanent legendary monkey that then like kind of disappears, or excuse me, that like then just dies once you attack with them again. I mean, there is obviously like a slight benefit to doing that, which is You know, if you don't want to discard another card, you can maybe attack with the monkey by itself, like the next turn, and not with this guy. I mean, but the chances that he'll get in are pretty low. I mean, that, you know, at that point it would have to be like turn 5 basically, and on turn 5 it's really unlikely that your opponent's not going to have a way to deal with a 1/1 menace, you know what I mean? So I think it'll probably be better if you just, you know, have to sacrifice Kazi at the end of the turn or something like that. So about Primal Instinct. Okay, so first of all, this card is like impossible to block if you Primal Instinct. It's got First Strike and Trample. Obviously I don't mean impossible, but it's like really, really hard to block. Now you are discarding a card, so that makes sense. Primal Instinct. I'm not sure I get the flavor of this one though. I mean, okay, Primal Instinct, right? So that means like, you know, this is, you know, you've got this instinct that, okay, so like he's sort of like a humanoid monkey, but he's still got this like, you know, sort of animalistic instinct in him. But why? So okay, maybe that kind of makes sense, right? You're discarding a card, so it's kind of like you're sort of how do I put this? It's kind of like you're putting certain notions in your brain away in order to sort of embrace this primal instinct or something like that. Okay, I kind of get it. It's a little bit weird in red and green, simply because red and green aren't historically the like I can do things with discarded cards colors. I mean, green can get things back from the graveyard if they're permanents. Sometimes, but yeah. So like if this was like a red-black card, for example, then I think Primal Instinct would be stronger and might. I mean, I think it's fine. The other thing is like discarding cards is like discarding a card for an effect isn't really something you see that much anymore, because of the fact that it's not particularly fun to do that. I mean, you know, there's discarding for like looting and for rummaging, but this kind of a thing where you like discard a card for some kind of a bonus, you don't often see that. Partially because it's not that fun, and partially because you can really get blown out, like including this guy. I mean, if you attack here and you Primal Instinct and then they just kill it in response, I mean, you have the monkey, sure, but chances are they're going to be able to block the monkey, and then you've basically spent 2 cards for their 1 card. So there's certainly like heavy risk involved in doing the Primal Instinct. And the thing that concerns me a little bit is the fact that this guy is not that strong without the Primal Instinct, right? So like, I think so the discard thing doesn't bother me so much here. I think what does bother me is the fact that, like, if you don't do the Primal Instinct, he's not particularly strong. Honestly, if you flipped the 2/3 into a 3/2, I would like this card a little bit better, I think, because if your opponent's like leaving mana up and you suspect they might have a way to interact with your Kamikai, you're probably still able to attack. It might not be for the most damage, you know, maybe you'll trade off or something, but at least at least you can do something with this card. And kind of the way it stands right now, as a 3-mana 2/3, it's a little bit harder to actually be able to utilize this card without the Primal Instinct. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. So, because Primal Instinct is a big risk, it feels like the card shouldn't be. It feels like the card should still be a viable threat without the Primal Instinct. And the Primal Instinct is sort of just icing on the cake, right? It's like, okay, your opponent's tapped out. Now I can go ham. Now I can just get in there and start wailing on them. So, but I think this is a pretty neat card overall. The discard doesn't bother me a ton. I doubt Wizards would have a mechanic like this nowadays. They don't tend to do the discard a card for a like combat bonus that much anymore. For the reasons I mentioned, but it doesn't bother me particularly that much. So, especially because it has to be a non-land card. That's another thing that kind of hurts this card a little bit. Like if you, I wonder why you have that non-land card clause on there. Because if this guy was able to discard lands, then like it's not the biggest deal if you get blown out, right? It's like, yes, you are down 2 cards, but it was a land, and you maybe at the stage of the game, at the stage of the game where you're discarding lands, like it actually makes this card better because it lets you turn those lands you draw, those like extra lands you draw into a combat bonus, right? But with the way it's worded right now, like if you're in like top deck mode, I mean, you basically have to discard the cards, the like good cards that you draw in order to like be able to attack with this guy. So I wonder if it's worth considering allowing them to discard just any card. I'm not sure why you have the non-land clause on there. And again, I mean, it's risky to do this, right? It's risky to discard a non-land card. For a combat bonus on a creature, because the creature could potentially die, right? So yeah, I mean, overall, I like this card. I like the idea. I like the art. I just have a few, I think, little issues with it, and let me just summarize. I think stats-wise, it might be better if it was a 3/2 instead of a 2/3, so that it was sort of a viable threat without the Primal Instinct. I'd like it better if the monkey, the Kazi monkey, disappeared at the end of the turn, so that it didn't have sort of this awkward legendary rule thing come into play. And I also kind of wish you could discard any card rather than just a non-land card. I'm sure you had your reasons for that. But I think the card would play better if you could discard any card. So yeah, I mean, that being said, it's a cool card. It's potentially a strong card, but potentially also a kind of a blowout on yourself. So kind of high risk, high reward on this one. And of course you've got the monkey, but yeah, the monkey, just put the monkey. It's just sort of the monkey's sort of just the icing on the cake. Like it's a 1/1 menace, which sometimes will get in and draw you a card, but it's not guaranteed. I mean, sometimes they'll just have 2 creatures, and or they'll kill this guy before combat, or whatever, and the monkey just won't really do anything. So. All right. But overall, I think I'll give this one a 7 out of 10. I think conceptually it's cool. I think it needs a couple little tweaks to make it really shine. But yeah, overall, I like the card. So thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time.